Hey, what is up guys? Welcome to the channel. So today I've got a slightly different video for you. I'm actually going to show you my audio recording setup. Now this is used for YouTube and any live recordings that I do, like Twitch streaming or any live streaming really, and you can use this setup to do many different things. There's a plethora of things you can use this for, but today let's focus on YouTube and live streaming and how I set it up. Now I am by no means a professional in the kind of audio field. My experience comes from mistakes that I've made, and it's through mostly trial and error. I have tried many different things. I have watched many different people do things. This is the best way I feel if you want to podcast, if you want to have a setup for YouTube, and you want to get into kind of an entry level recording setup. Now of course, entry level, what I mean by that is this is going to kind of set you back a little bit. You do need a bit of a higher budget for this, but it's an informational video, so if you don't have the money, this will still inform you of how to set this audio setup that I have up for the future. So don't worry if you don't have the budget. If you're a PC enthusiast like me, then usually it's just a video to watch anyway. So I'm going to be showing you the different hardware that I use to set this up, and also show you the software side of things at the end, which you'll also be able to see the kind of the audio of my microphone that I use for YouTube. Now I'm using just a simple directional microphone with a camera at the moment, so the audio is not going to be as great as my normal microphone, but you're going to see that for yourself in a little while. Okay, so the microphone that I use is a dynamic microphone. It doesn't need phantom power. It's great for live recordings, and it's got a cardioid pattern, and dynamics and cardioid microphones basically only pick up things from the front, and it's great for live recordings because it doesn't pick up much background noise. You can also get condensers, which they're great, but they pick up a lot of noise. The good thing about condensers is they bring out a lot of richness in your voice. That's what kind of condensers are really great for. You can use a condenser if you want, but the microphone that I use, I'm not sure if you can see it. Let me just bring it out. It is a Shure SM58. Now I do have a windshield on this, and this is great I recommend this for your dynamic microphones. To get a foam shield, I used to have a pop filter. They were just so fiddly to use. I just use a windshield, and they work great. You know, your P's and S's don't really get picked up, that, you know, don't really pop so much with this on. So my microphone is an XLR microphone. I don't use a USB microphone because it wouldn't work with my setup anyway. I do recommend using an XLR microphone because XLR cables, they are better at balancing audio signals. That just means you're gonna get less audio interference than if you were to use a USB or a simple jack or quarter-inch jack adapter or whatever. It's just better. It's got a grounding, and it controls the audio levels better. So the two kind of hardware that I use as the heart of the operation is basically my mixer and my compressor. Now I will explain what the compressor does and how you connect it in a little while, but first let's talk about the mixer that I use. Okay, so I'm gonna keep it short and simple and sweet for you. I'm not going to go into detail about what each component does because that would take too long, and they literally will be a video on their own. So I'll be explaining things in layman's terms if you wish. So what does a mixer do? A mixer allows you to basically have different inputs. I have a lot of inputs on my mixer. It's a big mixer, and you don't need a big mixer if you're just planning to record just yourself, but I'll explain why I have such a big mixer in a bit. Now the mixer that I use, as you can see, my microphone's plugged into one of my XLR inputs on my mixer. You're also going to need insert ports. Now the insert port basically lets you connect the compressor. I'll explain again in a little while how to connect it and why you need an insert port. It's important that you have an insert port if you are planning on connecting the compressor, otherwise you can't connect the compressor at all. So I have two insert ports on my mixer, and they work great. I wish I had more, but I've only got two. They are a little bit more expensive mixers with insert ports, and they're a little harder to find, especially on Amazon. I find it quite hard to find mixers with insert ports on Amazon. So I got mine just going to a kind of audio kind of shop, basically a DJ shop, and I found mine there. The good thing about mixers, they allow you to individually control the audio levels on the different inputs that you use, and you've also got your master level volume as well. And the other thing that it has is EQ settings. Now I have EQ settings to control my high, mids and lows of my voice, and it's great. That brings out much more tone in your voice and makes you kind of sound better. You kind of sound like a radio presenter sometimes. You really get what you pay for, to be honest. If you're gonna pay more for a mixer, then it's gonna have more EQ settings. It's gonna give you bass, treble and things like that, which are nice things to have because they just give you more control over how you sound, basically. Okay, so the next thing I want to talk about is how do you connect your compressor. Now, a compressor, what you're gonna need is a special cable. Now the special cable that it uses is basically, it's called an insert cable, to put it simply. If you go to a shop and you say, do you have an insert cable? I want to buy an insert cable, they'll basically show you this. Now insert cables are usually labeled, but I'll explain which side they plug into, basically. So the one that's on its own is the insert cable, and that goes in your insert port on your mixer. And these two, which are usually labeled, they tell you which is a tip and the ring, and they go into the back of your compressor, basically. It's really simple, just follow the markings on the back of your compressor and just match them up with the labels on the cables. Okay, so let's talk about what a compressor does. Now, audio has attenuation. If you use software to record audio, you'll be aware that you'll see the audio waves go up and down as you speak louder or as you speak quieter. Now what a compressor will do, it will boost the lower signals in the audio to bring out richness in your voice, and that's great. The other thing it does, which I really enjoy and I think it's good for, is the louder attenuation or the louder waves you get. If you shout, for example, if you scream, if you get scared, or if you're just speaking too loud, the compressor will not let the audio spike up, basically. It will keep it with keep the attenuation at a nice level throughout, and good compressors will do this very well. And again, it's one of those things that for a compressor, you get what you pay for. If you're going to cheap it out on a compressor, it's not going to do a good job of it. Another useful feature that compressors do, not all of them have this, but most of them will usually have it, is an expander or noise gate. Now, a noise gate, simply put, it's a gate, and you can set the sensitivity of how much you want that gate, and basically any noise that you've set below it, any noise that's below the gate's not going to open, so the audio's not going to get passed through. Now if the audio's high enough, the gate's going to open, it's going to go through, the audio's going to go through, and people are going to hear you. So this is good, but it's not that great actually. And basically why it's not that great is because once that gate opens and the audio goes through, people are still going to hear your background noise as you speak. It's not going to eliminate the background noise because it's simply just a gate opening and letting audio through. When it's high enough, people are still going to hear the stuff in your background when that gate is open. But what a compressor does, because that's a simple explanation of what a simple noise gate does. What a compressor does on its expander or its gate is, when you've set up right and the audio that's below that gate, that audio below that gate will get reduced. You can set the ratio of how much it will do this. So if the audio gets high enough and the gate opens, any audio that is below that level is going to get reduced, which is amazing. And my compressor does this really well. So if I speak and I'm typing and I'm clicking and people are talking in behind me, it doesn't get picked up, it reduces it. So it's great, it's amazing. And really this just reduces post editing of my audio. I don't have to go in and use noise cancellation techniques or use a noise cancelling that Audacity has, for example. I don't have to do that. It does this automatically for me, so it reduces the pain of having to post edit your audio, which is great. just reduces all that work for you pretty much. Okay, so let's talk about the compressor settings. Now you have your expander gate settings. You can set the threshold on it and the ratio of how much noise you want to get picked up or not picked up. Basically, the lower you set the threshold, the easier noise is going to pass through pretty much. And again, the ratio knob, you can turn that up, and it's kind of like a sensitivity setting. So I tend to mess around with it to get the kind of perfect balance. Now to the right, you've got the compressor settings. Now again, the compressor also is similar to the gate. You can set the threshold of the audio basically, and anything that goes past that gate, it will compress, and any noise that's below it, it won't boost pretty much. If you were to set it too low and that gate opens, it's going to boost your background noise, and you don't want that. So this is an important setting to make sure you have a hang of, and you make sure that it's right, because you don't want your background noise to be boosted. You want your voice to be attenuated perfectly. So these settings are important. And you also have the attack and release time. It's basically, I've got this set to auto, I think, and it basically means, or it lets you choose how quickly the gate closes and opens. So I've just got it as auto because my compressor does a great job at this. And I've also got a volume boost, basically a dB control, and what that basically does is boost your audio signal. So my microphone requires a lot of boosting. The audio just needs boosting for people to hear me, so I use it on here and it's great. I've got boost on my mixer as well, but I just use this one because it works fine. So let's move on now. Now, how do you connect your mixer to your computer? If you had a USB mixer, for example, you could connect it straight into your computer, or you could connect it through a RCA to 3.5mm jack, basically. Connect it straight into your audio port in your motherboard. And the reason I highly suggest you don't do this is because if you've got a mixer and a compressor, there's a lot of electrical equipment around the mixer, which means it's going to pick up interference, and you don't have a way of balancing that, all the audio inputs, and you're gonna need something to balance it out. Motherboards are not great at converting audio, pretty much. Modern motherboards are good at it, but they're not great. So I will show you what I use. So the thing that I use to connect my mixer into is an audio interface. Now my audio interface is a surround sound audio interface. You can use any audio interface that converts audio for you, and which will let you plug it into your computer. Because my mixer is not USB, I can't just plug it into my computer. And again, I don't suggest you connecting it straight into your computer. You're gonna get hum, you're gonna get interference 99% of the time, and you want to reduce all of that before you start recording. Now, to connect your mixer to your audio interface, the cable you're going to need is called an RCA to 3.5mm jack. Now basically this goes into your output of your mixer. Now my output, I have a 1/4 inch adapter on both of the RCA cables, simply because again, the adapters are balance the audio levels better. They're more of a balance. That's why I use those adapters. So I use them instead of plugging it straight into the stereo output of my mixer. I use those, and this little jack here connects into your audio interface. But before I actually do that, I have another thing that I use. You could do this. You could just connect the RCA cable into your audio interface from your mixer. Basically, you can do that, or you can take it another step further to reduce hum and interference. Now I used a little device called a ground loop isolator. Now inside this little thing is a conductor which reduces the interference pretty much. It grounds the signal better. Now this already comes with an RCA cable, so I plug this right into my mixer pretty much, and an RCA cable basically comes out from the from the ground loop isolator, and it plugs into my audio interface. Okay, so the ground loop isolator is another one of those hardware that you get what you pay for. If you're gonna cheap it out, it's not gonna do a great job. You really need a good conductor in there, and that's gonna set you back a little bit. My one cost me about £30. It's great. It has reduced so much interference. I really recommend you using this, especially if you don't have good grounding in your home and all your electrical equipment. Especially, like, I use a lot of socket adapters, so that they don't have good grounding. Really, they don't have great grounding, and especially if a lot of things are plugged into it. So the ground loop isolator works like a charm. So my audio interface has 3 inputs. I only need to use the one because I'm connecting the mixer into it. It also has a bunch of different outputs you can use if you want to set up surround speakers, but I use a digital output on the back, which because my speakers use digital audio, I need an optical input or output basically, and it has that, so I pop that in there. And digital audio, as a little side note, is a lot better to use. It has better sound quality, so you don't really worry about this side of things, because I'm more focused on how you record your audio. Now this audio interface, this plugs into my USB on the back of my computer basically. Again, USBs, they do pick up interference, not as much as your audio port on your motherboard. They do pick up a little bit of interference, but the interference is really reduced because this audio interface converts audio really nice. If you have too many inputs on your for your audio on your motherboard, for example, it's gonna go mental. It's gonna pick up everything, but this audio interface kind of acts like an in-between between your computer and the mixer to balance all those signals coming in. And I do recommend you getting a sound card. It is probably the best way. Again, you pay you pay for what you get. So if you get a good sound card, you don't really need an audio interface. You can just connect it straight into your motherboard, and it's going to balance it out well for you. Okay, so we're coming into the end of the hardware setup, so let's recap what goes into what. So the first thing that you have is your microphone. That goes into your mixer, or any input really, that goes into your mixer. Now your compressor goes into your mixer goes into your ground loop isolator, or it goes straight into your audio interface. And then your audio interface plugs into your computer. And again, mine uses a USB, so that goes straight into a USB port at the back of my computer. Now I'm going to switch to the software side of things, and you can get a kind of view and listen to what my microphone sounds like. Now I'm not going to have any post audio editing on my microphone. I will edit the audio on this microphone that I'm using right now, because it's not plugged into my mixer or anything. It's plugged straight into my phone, so I'm gonna have to edit it. But let's move on to the software side of things.
Hey, what is up guys? Welcome to the software side of things. This is my desktop. As you can hear, I am using my microphone, my normal microphone. You can tell the big difference in my voice, and honestly, there's going to be 0 post editing for my microphone. Now I'll show you some of the things that I use and some of the software that I use. So for my microphone, basically if I right click on my sound and go to my playback devices, you're going to see, go to recording, that my microphone is set as default. Now I've done nothing to this. I've done nothing to the settings. Simply I've just put it at a level I want it, and this never changes, never changes. I just leave it as this. And if I ever need to lower the audio down, I do this on my mixer. There's no need to turn this up or down. And that is literally how to set up my phone. It's recognized my audio interface as USB multi-channel audio device, and then that's basically what it does. But now I'm going to show you how I record other audio, and this can be anything. It can be your game audio, your friends on Discord or Skype, as well as your own voice as well. And if I go to playback and I scroll down, this is basically my audio interface sound. but I don't have this set as default. And why is that? Why do I have a virtual audio mixer set as my default device? How am I going to actually hear anything playing at all if I don't have it set as my audio device? Well, I'm going to show you why. Now, I use a program called Voice Meter Banana. I'm going to get it up for you. Now, as you can see, if I move this along, this is a virtual mixer and it's great. It works great, and I'll tell you why it works great. Now, this is the, over here, I've set this as game. Well, I've named it as game. This is the virtual mixer, Voice Meter VAIO, and as you can see here, it's the same. And I've basically set this as default because I want my Windows audio to play through, which will play my game audio as well. So I've set this line in here as basically the virtual audio mixer. And now for Discord or for Skype, I've also got another audio, or well, virtual audio input that you can actually download on Voice Meter's website. And this is here. Now I don't set this as my default because I don't want my Windows audio to be playing through this. Instead, what I do, if I get my Discord up, and if I click on the settings, as you can see, I'm on the user settings, and I scroll down to voice and video. Now, obviously, I've set my input device as my microphone, but I've set my output device as speakers VB virtual audio cable, and that is this one right here. Now, what this will do is it will you'll see it play through here. Now, if I make a video play, you can see this moving up and down. That is just the Windows audio playing. I just need to reduce that a little bit. You guys probably heard whatever was playing. But yeah, this will be the Windows audio. Now, because I don't have anyone to test the Discord audio, what will basically happen is when someone speaks, this will go up and down. So it mixes separately. And then what it does is you set the output, the hardware output, as what device you want to listen in through. So I've set it as my audio interface. So I'm basically hearing it through my audio interface right now. These two get mixed into one so I can hear stuff. Now, the software I usually use to record is pretty much I use OBS to record everything. And if I just get it up and move it along over here, you can just about see it. And this is what I use to record most things. I have a lot of profiles set up. I can't actually show you because I'm recording. But one thing I love to use, and it works with OBS, is these virtual audio inputs. So again, if I play something from my Windows, you can see it move up and down here. And down here, I have my Discord audio, which would play if I had people playing. You can also do the same for Skype, as long as you set your Skype output as the virtual audio device. And pretty much, say if I did not want anyone to hear the Discord and hear my friends, I could set a key to mute this, and the people in the recording would not actually hear my friends. I'd be able to hear them, but the people watching either live or in the recording, they would not hear them, which is a great tool. You can do this for anything. You can do this for your desktop audio, you can do this for your microphone. It's great. And the other thing I want to show you is my tracks on this. Now, if I right click and click on Advanced Audio Properties, as you can see, I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6 tracks. Now, I only use 4 of them, and I'll just explain what they're used for. So track 1, this is set to my stream. I've set this to my stream in audio as track 1, and I've mixed everything into those tracks. So when I stream, you'll hear everything. Now, when I record, I'm basically going to have multiple audio tracks. Now, these other audio tracks is what I use for recording. So I've got 2, 3, 4, and 5. What this basically does, it separates them. So when you drag your recording into editing software, and I'll just show you. you drag your recording into editing software, it will basically give you all your audio tracks. So I've got 4 of them here, I've got 1 here, and I've got 2, 3, and 4. Now this, I have my track 1 as everything mixed in, so everything will be mixed into this one track, but these other tracks are set differently. So I have my Discord track here, I have my game track here, and here I have basically my microphone track. And what this allows you to do is gives you a lot of control over your audio. So if, for example, your Discord is a bit too loud and you want to mute them for a while, you can just split that audio and mute the part that you want, and that's great. If I had audio where everything was mixed into one track, I wouldn't be able to do this. I wouldn't be able to control other audio levels. I would not be able to turn people down or turn my game up or down, and pretty much it just gives you the control of audio. It really does. And I'll just quickly show you my audio interface software. This is my audio interface software. Had to download this separately. I'm guessing it's going to be different for other audio interfaces. They might download automatically, or you might have to download it yourself. And as you can see, I've got it set to my headphones. I've got my surround sound speakers set up. Again, if I play something, see it's picking up. So that is basically all that I use, and to be honest, it reduces a lot of post editing for my microphone. It gives me the control over audio, reduces workload, and it makes me sound really great, and I don't have to add any edits in. So that is all that I use, to be honest. That is everything that I use, and it's worked very well for me so far. I haven't had to upgrade or update my setup in a very long time. And the thing is, I see a lot of big YouTubers, a lot of podcasters, they don't use simple things like compressors. I know a big podcaster that uses compressors is Total Biscuit, and many others do too. But a lot of YouTubers don't actually use compressors, and they've got the money for it, and it's strange. And I do hate it when there are very loud moments in a game, and someone shouts and watching a video, and my ears are getting destroyed by the noise. It's not nice, and that's why I love compressors. But I hope you guys enjoyed watching this video. If you liked it, as you know, leave a like. If you've got any suggestions or any improvements I can make, please leave them down below. And I shall see you guys in my next video. Peace out, guys.